Lisa Raye and Tisha Campbell are speaking out because they are not going to let Jada hide her face. With celebs getting exposed left and right after the Epstein file scandals, power couples like Beyonce and Jay Z, Will and Jada are said to be panicking because of all of their dirty dealings being made public. And if anyone has a personal beef with Jada, it's Lisa Raye and Tisha Campbell, because Jada and Will not only ruined both of their marriages, but they also did a lot of dirt to young up-and-coming stars in the industry because they could not control their inner freaks. Jada has been in some pretty weird situations too, especially that entanglement with August Alsina. And now it's being reported that the August situation was not the first time that Jada had done something like this, but that was the first time that she actually got caught in a public way.
When I was young, I definitely think I had a sex addiction of some kind. Yes, that everything could be fixed by sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Will and Jada really thought people would finally stop talking about them after the whole Oscar drama slap. Instead, their names ended up being tied to Diddy first, and now the whole Epstein scandal. Apparently, Will's name wasn't mentioned much explicitly in the documents, but many people did notice one of the pages talked about a victim that sounded very much like Brashear Gray and how he got passed around. Even if it was not Brashear, because the number of victims are way too many, what you cannot deny is that Brashear is definitely a victim of the industry network who passed him around to much older men until they made him lose his mind. Old videos of Will Smith talking excitedly about mentoring Brashear Gray have been going viral over the internet. He talked about how Brashear was going to reach for the stars by the time that they were done and that he was in the best hands.
Charlie was with me every step of the way, first out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life. And it's like I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me well prepared.
And now we can see the outcome. Brashear is out here spreading it wide and laying it low for chump change.
And he was like, he said, Will me, Diddy made me suck it. What's going on. Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. And I'm like, listen.
And allegedly, the same thing happened to Meek Mill and August Alsina at their hands. August was introduced to the Smiths around 2015, where he was dealing with health issues, including liver disease and nerve damage that made him lose his ability to walk. He also got addicted to the painkiller Percocet. And because of his health, August couldn't work. And although he made money from his music, he wasn't really managing it well. And he was reportedly behind on bills to the point that he almost got evicted. If his health issues weren't enough, he was dealing with some serious family drama and unfortunately didn't have the best relationship with his mother.
We all want family. That's what we've been taught. We've been taught to we live, we grow, we create a family. I mean, that's what you do. You be with your family. You know what I'm saying? So it's a void out here for a lot of people. I know for me, I feel a void in my life because I can't get down with my family like that. Yeah. And
because he had gotten close to the entire Smith family, he reached out to Jada for spiritual guidance. Another vulnerable young man coming to the Smiths for guidance? Can you guess how that turned out? Along the way, Jada and August became really good friends until they started getting it on. Mind you, Jada is like 20 years older than August. In fact, August posted this message on her 47th birthday. I don't believe in luck. I believe in God's divine order, and you are an example of God's divinity, and it's covering over my life. I could spend a lifetime decoding you. You're my little piece of heaven here on earth. The fortune in my cookie, you are love personified. There hasn't been enough diction created to articulate or express the capacity of my love for you. So as my soul continues this quest, I'd like to say happy birthday best. You're nothing like the rest. Girl, not even Will Smith ever posted anything that romantic for Jada, ever. Now here's where the story gets a bit uncomfortable. After they got outed for being in a full-blown relationship for 4 years, and it cost him a lot because he really thought they were becoming a happy family.
It's very different because, as I said, there's so many people that are side-eyeing me, looking at me questionable about it. I mean, I've lost money, friendships, relationships behind it, and I think it's because people don't necessarily know the truth, but I've never done anything wrong. I love those people.
Like, why would anyone think that August benefited from a situation like this? What August said blew the lid off of Will and Jada's situation, but they still tried to dump it on him. It was called a publicity stunt, and sources started saying that August only talked about it because he wanted some attention for his new album. But for Lisa, Raye, and Tisha, this whole situation hits home because they had both been similar victims to Jada's shenanigans. Like, Tisha Campbell and Jada were friends for a long time before she married Will Smith. Jada and Will were even at Tisha and Dwayne's wedding in 1996, and Tisha also showed up for Jada's wedding to Will in 1997. But after Will and Jada got married, they started moving funny. Will Smith reportedly always had a thing for Tisha Campbell and admitted to her that the crush was still ongoing. Well, Tisha thought that Will was just joking and brought it up to Jada as friends do. However, Jada already knew about it and started to butter Tisha up to the situation. What made this so messy was that Dwayne Martin was already Jada's boy toy, but Tisha didn't know anything about that when they got married, and he also warmed her up to the idea. All three were working together to get Tisha to agree until she eventually gave in. Before she knew how deep it went, all four of them were in a union. I mean, the Smiths paid for Tisha and Dwayne's restaurant and supported their business ventures to keep them satisfied and basically kept Tisha right where they needed her to be. Most of their business and finances were managed by Dwayne, but every business they tried kept failing. Their finances were going down the drain and their debt was piling up faster than they were making money because both Tisha and Dwayne were barely getting any roles in the industry. They were struggling to pay their mortgage, and they also had a child with special needs, and he needed additional attention. So Tisha filed for divorce and started asking questions about where the money was going. Now, she knew that the Smiths had papers for their restaurants since they paid for it, but what she didn't know was that Will Smith also had paperwork on their house and had loaned Dwayne $1.4 million to buy the house. She thought they were paying the bank, and with the divorce, could sell the house and get some money off of it. But since their house was technically owned by the Smiths, she got nothing out of it. Tisha also believed that Will and Jada were helping Dwayne hide money during the divorce. So if she really wanted out of the marriage and their situation, that she was just going to have to leave empty-handed.
I look like my man left me.
That's so dumb.
Took all my money.
That already happened.
Oh, you bitch.
But that's not all, you guys. Allegedly, Will Smith and Dwayne also had a thing going on. Even Will's ex-assistant recently came out to confirm all of this.
I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder, like murder. There was murder in there.
Okay. What did you do?
For Tisha, this was complete betrayal of trust, especially when she thought Jada was her friend and would at least respect the relationship that they had. But they all portrayed Tisha as this crazy one in the media. So when this whole thing with August blew up, Tisha was happy that people could finally see just the type of person that Jada really is. Tisha made a post saying, "The truth always comes out in the end, no matter how hard anyone tries to hide it. Lies are just a temporary delay to the inevitable." She also said, "They will lie to the end. The real kiki is people will stop believing them." And Lisa Raye even doubled down on what Tisha said because she also got caught up in Will and Jada's mess after introducing Dwayne Martin to her ex-husband, Michael McKissick. Dwayne was reportedly introduced to gay relationships by Will Smith after they met on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and forged a relationship. I mean, a friendship. And like I said before, we've all heard the rumors surrounding those two. However, it was during this quote unquote friendship that Dwayne reportedly realized that being the boy toy to someone rich and famous instead of acting was a way easier way to earn money. When Lisa introduced Dwayne to Michael, she claimed that things immediately started going south. Dwayne introduced Lisa's husband to different women in Hollywood, and some were even Lisa's friends. Dwayne and Michael also reportedly had a much deeper relationship than just hanging out around in Hollywood together. It got to a point where Dwayne could go in and out of Lisa Raye's home unchecked, and she really had no say-so in the matter.
I've always been afraid to date in LA. I heard stories and,
what stories
about
you
the
heard
parties, about the Down Low brothers, and about all of that, and I'm like, I ain't for none of that, you know what I mean? I don't want you to be playing with me. I don't want to be no notch on nobody's belt like I had her, I've never been no fuck girl, none of that.
So proud of her for being so honest. I'm so proud of her.
And for Lisa Raye, August and Jada's entanglement wasn't a normal relationship. August saw Jada as a mother figure, which is why he came to her for guidance, which she agreed to, but somehow he ended up in her bed. When he did something she didn't like, August was merely discarded like he never mattered at all.
And I feel that he was a baby. Now, I'm all for if you want to date somebody younger, go for it, you know what I mean? But because of his circumstance and why in which he came to her, wounded and hurt, and in her lap, how in the hell did he get off the lap and then you got onto the dick? I don't understand. Son brought him to you all, and you all brought him in like family and started vacationing with him. So you were trying to mentor him. So you done fucked him up even more right here.
And people are now talking about how all of that felt very similar to what Brashear Gray went through, and how he was pushed to the side like some old news once they were done with him. Someone said. So August came to Jada for help when he was vulnerable, and she used him because she wanted to feel good, then dashed him aside and went back to her husband. Wow. He loved Jada because she's a motherly figure. He fell in love without really understanding how wounded he really was. Of course, she knew that but didn't care. She was selfish and knew he could be molded into whatever she wanted him to be. Jada took advantage of him while he was sick and then threw him away when she didn't want him anymore. She knew he was weak. Now he out here done lost his mind while she's calling their hookup an entanglement. But what do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.